Thanks for tuning in to the Invest edition of the Straits Times Roundtable. AIA Singapore recently did a survey involving parents. Can you share why AIA did that survey and what are the key findings that you've found?
Yeah, the reason why we did that survey was because as we have seen different generations of policyholders in our 100 years in Singapore here, we have realized that the society has changed, and we wanted to keep up with our fellow Singaporeans in order to be able to help them to live well and also in this, specifically for this topic, retire well. So what we did was we did a survey with young families, and we found that 60% of Singaporeans actually do not have a clear retirement plan, and they are at risk of not being ready for retirement if they don't start to put this as a priority soon.
Do you have a case study to share with our viewers so that they can better understand what is the problem that could be facing them?
We speak to our customers, and actually I give you a very typical example. And this is a guy who is in his mid-30s, father of two. His wife is a homemaker, and he has a joint responsibility in terms of supporting his aging parents, two aging parents. And this is a very common example and very real in our society today, where we have low childbirth and also an aging population. So this is what we deem as a sandwich generation. They not just have to take care of their children, but of themselves. They also have to take care of their parents, and sometimes in some circumstances to their grandparents as well. So it is many financial responsibilities that they have to take care of.
Why do you think people have problems with sufficient money for their retirement?
Of course, there is this reason of overspending, all right? And overspending means let's say if I earn $1,000, if I spend $999, I should be all right. Yeah. But if I spend $1,001, that means I'm starting to accumulate debt. So there are people who overspend. But I think for many of us here, I think it's not putting enough time and effort to do planning.
At CCS, have you encountered parents or families who actually use loans to support their lifestyle?
Yes, definitely. That's why they come to us. They have overcommitted themselves. Sometimes it's very unfortunate because parents always want to give the best to the kids, all right? I think one thing very important is that we need to recognize our own financial capacity, right? And take stock of our financial commitment. So if my earning is this much and I already committed this much, I shouldn't be making further commitment because I will be overstretching. And in the way, I'm actually going to start incurring debts.
As a parent of two teenage kids, what are your thoughts on the discussion so far?
Yes, I can definitely relate to being part of the sandwich generation that Melita was referring to. I live with both my parents and my two boys. So with the past 1.5 years of COVID-imposed restrictions, my wife and I are definitely sandwiched in more ways than one. But being part of the sandwich generation, there are many competing expenses for the funds that we have at our disposal. So any unplanned medical expenses will be a very big burden on the family financially. So for the children's side of things, when my children were younger, there were actually a lot more expenses for the classes that they attended on weekends and so on. Now that they are teenagers, so the expenses will be things like academic tuition. But after balancing all those costs for the parents and the children, that come ourselves, my wife and myself. So net of all that, as Hui Min was saying, after netting all the expenses, whatever that is left is the pot that you have remaining for financial and retirement planning. So it's actually very important to do the stock take, to know where you stand financially so that you can plan.
What is your advice when it comes to spending and managing their budget?
One thing, don't rock the boat. If you already have so much expenses, avoid taking on more financial expenses. Now, for those of us who want to save a bit, right, but because money is so tight, so one way is when you get your bonus, when you get your 13th month, all right, can you spend Yes. Spend all? No. All right. These are extra. These are additional so-called. So when you get your 13-month, your bonus, save a big chunk of it. Take out 5%, 10% to have a little bit of fun. Fine. But save a big chunk of it. Since you are not quite able to save using your monthly income, so save up your bonuses and 13-month.
The challenge now for many parents is meeting near-term needs versus meeting retirement needs. So what will be your last advice to them for today's session?
I think it's very natural for parents to want to provide the best for their children. And we also know that it's a very tough balancing act. But please consider to start proper retirement planning for yourself so that you will not unintentionally burden your children in your later years. I think there needs to be a mindset shift that your own retirement readiness, it's a very good way of ensuring a very bright future for your own children as well.
So this is something that I think as a parent, you can give it to your kids in future. Take care of yourself financially so that when your children have their own family to take care of, they don't really have to worry about you because they can take care of themselves. So whatever they can give it to you is more like Chinese say 锦上添花, something to make things better. Yeah, so I think that is a gift parents can give to their kids.
On that note, actually, I would like to leave this message with parents out there. You are spending a lot more on your kids today because you love them. But if you truly, truly love them, you will want, like what Human said, make sure that you are financially independent yourself so that they don't have to suffer the burden of taking care of you in your old age.